Strade Bianche. Outside of the five monuments, one of the most prestigious races on the cycling calendar. This marked the 17th edition of the men's race, starting and finishing in the picturesque city of Siena, Tuscany. At 184 kilometres, it's not the longest race in the world, but it's the gravel roads, which make up over a third of the route, that make it so tough to win or even to finish. Monte Santa Maria is often the sector which separates the best from the rest, but after that, still three short but tough white gravel roads remain, as well as that now infamous climb in towards the finish, located at the Piazza del Campo. Three riders held an advantage of over 4 minutes as live coverage started. Intermarché Circus Wanty's Sven-Erik Byström, Italian veteran Alessandro De Marchi, now riding for Jaco Alula, as well as the youngest man in the race, 19-year-old Ivan Romeo, riding for Movistar. Behind them, there were the inevitable crashes as riders jostled for position ahead of the most important sectors of the race. Both the Hungarian and Spanish champions were involved in this one, Attila Valter and Carlos Rodriguez respectively. Problems too for Davide Formolo, a puncture for the rider who finished second here 3 years ago. It would be a hard chase back on for him. On to Monte Santa Maria, and Romeo was beginning to pay for the efforts of his day. Behind him though, local rider Alberto Beccio was just starting his. Soon after they hit the gravel, he was on the attack, initially taking Andrea Baggioli with him, but two soon became three, Tom Pidcock bridging the gap for Ineos Grenadiers. They weren't three for long though. Yet another spectacular daredevil descent from the young Brit saw him distance the two Italians, and he would soon be setting off in lone pursuit of the day's early breakaway. Had he gone too soon? That was the question going through our minds, and probably his as well. 45 k's still remains to the finish line, but Pidcock was a man on a mission, seemingly taking risks on every corner of the race. The catch was eventually made with 42 kilometres to go, Pidcock joining the two leaders, but behind, probably sensing the danger, Mathieu van der Poel was on the move. He, of all people, knows the danger of giving Pidcock too much of a lead, but he was quickly caught back by the group he'd just attacked. Bahrain and Jumbo well represented in that group, but who would do the chasing? Bilbao, Madouas and Cron were the next to try their luck, but behind them, awful luck for Magnus Sheffield and Alberto Beccio. Both those riders hitting the deck, and it was the Italian who'd come off the worst. It was soon clear that it was not going to be Van der Poel's day, the 2021 winner not riding the way that he or we are used to seeing him. Pidcock's advantage was never a comfortable one. With 26 k's to go, it was still hovering around the half-minute mark. The race was far from over, but it was for this group, the fourth on the road. Bora Hansgrohe chasing valiantly, but it was to be in vain. Those still in with a chance included Costa, Benoit, Valter, Mohoric, Simmons and others, and they finally got themselves organised with three gravel sections remaining. On that sector, the lights went out for De Marchi, leaving Pidcock to plough on solo out front. Tish Benoit was particularly active behind, attacking on numerous occasions to try to get away, but every time he was brought back, one time by his very own teammate Attila Valter. Just 6 riders remained in the chase on the penultimate sector, and as they hit the final one, Le Tolfe, the gap was down to just 14 seconds. This race would hang in the balance to the very last. Valter, despite his earlier crash, was looking the best of that group at this point in the race, gapping his rivals and his teammate and slashing the gap to Pidcock to just 7 seconds by the top of the climb. Was the Brit cracking? Did he have something left in the tank? Well, by this point in the race, everyone was at their limit, and it was to Pidcock's advantage that the games of cat and mouse had well and truly started behind him. Nobody able, or perhaps willing, to put everything they had into the chase. 7 seconds became 18, and then back up to almost half a minute as the lone leader saw the welcome sight of the Flamme Rouge marking 1,000 metres to go. No Brit had ever won the men's edition of Strade Bianche before today. 5th place here a couple of years ago for Pidcock was their best effort. He was on the verge of making history, and as he came into Siena and the Piazza del Campo, he knew it was his. Cyclocross world champion, Olympic mountain bike champion, and now winner of Strade Bianche. Behind him, Valentin Madouas, the Frenchman of Groupama FDJ, had enough left in the tank to outsprint Tish Benoit, former winner, for second place on the day. Behind them, it was Costa and Valter who would battle it out for fourth place, the former world champion taking that. But the day belongs to this man. That will go down as one of the most impressive wins of his career so far. Almost 50 kilometres out front, doing almost all of the work on his own. Here's the rest of the top 10. Teammates Mohoric and Bilbao in 6th and 7th. Great wide by Gregoire in 8th place. Davide Formolo in 9th. And Cron rounding out the top 10. Well, after that spectacular race, we'll be back tomorrow with Paris-Nice, where we'll see Pogacar and Vingegaard battle it out together. You can catch that on GCN Plus. Territory restrictions apply. And we'll be back on Monday in Italy with Tirreno Adriatico. See you then. Bye for now.